that's, I mean, yeah, it's going to be the same, a minute restriction, and my role is just to play my hardest whenever I'm out there. So
definitely. And then quick follow-up, with Steph and Stu both leaving at different points in this beginning half of the season, how do you guys as a collective group plan for that to not, skip a beat when they are gone?
yeah, I mean, we just have a next man up mentality. Obviously everyone's seen I didn't play in the first 2 preseason games, and it's kind of that same thing, like next man up. Like, we have a deep enough team for us to truly have that mindset to where when somebody's out, we have enough people that can come in and just keep the level of play the same. So we're just attacking it that way. And, I'm sure the season is just like injuries happen during the season. And that's another opportunity for us to have that same mentality of like next man up. So that's just our focus on whoever's out, whoever's gone, just next man up.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks.
Next question will be from Eric Wilson with WKII. Eric, please go ahead.
Z, how are you? Thank you for your time. Kind of along those lines, just wanted to get your thoughts on, you've seen this team now. What are you guys expecting this year to be like? Because there is a high expectation for this team.
I mean, we're expecting to win a championship. I think that's the focus every year. But I mean, it's pretty much the same, and just to get better every day. That's obviously the end of the year goal, but we're just focusing on day by day. We're not focusing on anything else, all preseason stuff, none of that. Like, day by day, we're just focusing on being a little bit better than we were the day before, in every aspect. So that's really the focus, like, for the season, the collective focus.
Gotcha. And just a quick follow-up, it just seems like this season, when we speak to James, he's talking about your defense and how this team defensively is kind of been a focal point for you. So defensively, what have you ladies done to really elevate that play of game?
We just work on it more. I mean, we worked on it a little bit last year, but like, we work on defense more in practice, and I think that's definitely going to translate to the games. I mean, practice makes permanent. So if we're doing it every day, we're working on sets, like we're working on different schemes. It won't be a shock, or like when we get in the game, it will just be natural, just like our offense is. And I think that's definitely what we needed, like, headed into this season. After we evaluated last year, like, ways that we could have gotten better, like, defense was number one. So we just honestly work on it more.
Appreciate it, Z. Thank you.
Thanks.
Next question will be from Brandon Pope with WCIU in Chicago. Brandon, please go ahead.
Hey there. Sorry if there's construction going on in the background, if you hear that. So I'm curious about what that wobble/bubble experience was like for you and the team, and how that possibly impacts or affected the team going into this year.
Personally, I did not like the bubble. But I mean, I think as a team, like, it was just like we got closer. So I think that chemistry wise, it will help us. Obviously, we added Candace, Stu's back. We have the rookies. So it's still some chemistry we got to work on. But I think for like the returners, like we grew a lot closer from that experience. Just everything that we dealt with in that bubble. So I mean, I think it just made us closer, honestly. But yeah, the bubble was definitely like not a desirable experience for me.
Why was it not desirable?
I mean, imagine in the summer, in the middle of a pandemic, you go to Bradenton, Florida, to IMG, you're staying in a hotel room for 3 months, however long, and you can't leave ever. Like, just imagine that. Like, you can't even imagine that. And that's what it was like, but that doesn't even describe like what it was like. And it's no shake on the league. Like, they did the best that they could. So it wasn't, but it's just like mentally, it was really challenging to be in the same place in the middle of a global pandemic with all the racial injustice going on and have no outlet whatsoever from basketball, your team, the league, other people, the refs. Like, mentally, it was just, I don't know. There's no words to describe it.
One more question for you here. With the big expectations that people have for the Sky this season. How do you manage those as a team to make sure you're not kind of, looking ahead or not maintaining focus?
Same thing, like just every day. We're not thinking about any of that other stuff, what the media says, like y'all have predictions and all that. Like we don't even think about that. We're just focusing on one day at a time. Like taking from a game, what can we get better? Okay, we're doing that in practice. Okay, looking at practice film, what can we do better? Let's do that tomorrow in practice. Like that's literally our mindset, is every day we're getting better.
Awesome. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Next question for Azura will be from Cheryl Ray-Stat with WBZ. Cheryl, please go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, Azura. How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good. You're talking about how difficult the wobble was. Is there a new appreciation of what it'll mean to be on the road, to be doing things as normal as you can that you haven't had before?
Yeah, I think that's one thing I actually did personally like about the bubble was no travel. Because travel is just a whole nother added element. When you're not like chartering and stuff, it's just different. But it definitely like makes you grateful just for like your freedom in a sense, because you get to, within restrictions, you get to move around a little bit more than just driving in the car feels good. Like the first drive I took outside of the bubble was like, what? Like I just love, and I don't even like driving that much, but like it just felt good to do something normal. And in a sense, like that's kind of what we all had to go through with the pandemic. Everyone was home, but yeah, I think it does add an element of just like gratefulness and just gratitude for just being able to live like a normal human being to some extent, even though it's still not super normal with the pandemic, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. What about this team right now? You didn't get everybody until really basically today, having their first practice, everybody there. Will it take a little bit of time for all the pieces to be in place? Or do you think you guys are like a well-oiled machine and it'll be okay?
I think it's like a little bit of both. I mean, we have a lot of returners, but I think, Candace is a really, like all of the people who are on our team new are big parts. And so it's just like, it's definitely gonna take time getting to know styles, like playing together. But that's normal. I think every team goes through that. But I think the fact that we have a lot of returners definitely helps accelerate that process a little bit, because it's not like we added a whole bunch of people. Like we added 3 or 4. So the majority of us are returners. So yeah.
One final question. We saw on social media, you talked to us about your middle school project. We saw on social media that Candace saw it. What did she say to you when you still had that little doll?
She just busted out laughing. Like she was just like, this is so awesome. And like, she just said it was like really funny and stuff.
Do you have a lot of keepsakes like that, or is that one of your most unusual ones?
It's pretty unusual, but I actually did that project with one of my friends and I texted her and was like, well, she texted me when she found out that Candace was coming. And then like, we talked about the project we did. And then she texted me actually the other day and sent me the picture. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to show Candace this because like, this is crazy. So yeah.
It was very cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
Next question will be from Hannah Lichtenstein with Sky.com. Hannah, please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for being here. So I know your family's actually coming up on the 1-year anniversary of opening up that fish and grits food truck. And I was just wondering like what that was like to kind of be a part of that and what you've learned and how that's been the past year. I mean, opening up a food truck, especially during these times, but in any times, that's a huge endeavor.
Yeah, it's been exciting. I try to compare a lot of what we do on the truck to like my job here. And it's honestly kind of similar because I think of like the days that we go out and like we're out serving the food and it's kind of like a game day. Like we have to prep and get ready. And but it's honestly just been like a really fun experience, a really special experience to be able to do with my family. And just exciting, like every day. It's kind of like you can prepare for stuff with a business, but there's a lot of stuff that you just kind of have to like take on the fly and just figure it out. And so it's just been like a whirlwind, honestly, but a good one. Like I'm grateful to be able to be doing it with my family and just being, I mean, obviously right now I'm not really as involved. But yeah, we're doing really extremely well, and it's really a blessing to be able to like see how much it's grown in 1 year. And we have a lot of ideas for like future the future. I definitely want to try to get the truck up here like before the games one time. Not this year probably because of COVID, but next year for sure. Like I'm gonna like make that a goal of mine. And so you guys will all be able to try it, which will be even more special.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll do 2 more questions for Azure. First from Cosimo Sarti. Cosimo, please go ahead.
Hi, Azure. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good too, thank you. So I wanted to ask you, how do you approach having a minutes restriction? Do you go all out in the minutes that you have and like dare them to take you out? Or do you like pace yourself and then wait for the doctor to say, okay, she's better and she can play more? Like, how do you balance it?
It's really hard because like I want to play a lot. But obviously at the moment, like I'm having to do it in steps. And so I just do as best as I can with the minutes I'm given. Because that's really the only way we're gonna be able to know like how I'm progressing is if I give it my all for 10 minutes. And then if that responds well, okay, we bump it up. So I really just approach it as if I was playing 35 minutes. Like I'm just going as hard as I can with whatever minutes I'm given. So that's mentally like how I approach it.
Okay, thank you very much and good luck. I hope it gets
Thank you.
lifted soon.
Thank you.
Final question for Ezra will be from Noah Wilkes with Beyond Women's Sports. Noah, please go ahead.
Yeah, Azura, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I just wanted to ask you, like, what is the mood around the team heading into the first game? Is it excitement? And just what makes this group so special this year?
Man, we're so excited. You can feel the energy in practice, just how excited everyone is. We're all almost here. And we can really start, I think, building like with our unit. But it's just exciting. Obviously, it's the 25th year. Like we have a really, really good team. So we're just like ready to get started, ready to be all out there together, and just start another year.
Thank you, Azure.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Z.
Thanks.
You're all set.